Let's listen to Vinicius here because I think what he says is important. Welcome, Madridistas. How are you doing? Today, after a long time, we had him at a press conference, and I think he shared some interesting things before also speaking with Movistar Plus.
This match is good for us because we're more connected than ever. The players, the fans, and everyone need to be connected because that's how we can have a great game. But as top players, we can't disconnect that much. In league matches, because the league is always a very tough tournament, it's very long, there are a lot of games, and if you lose two or three matches, it makes things difficult for you. Now things have changed. We've already lost against Mallorca. That's in the past. And tomorrow it's our turn. We have to be ready and focused in a different way so we can win.
I've been hearing this my whole life. And in the meantime, we've won Champions Leagues and everything has gone really well. It's not the first time I've said this in videos, but honestly, it really annoys me. What can I say? Tomorrow, I'll be the first to get really nervous 3 hours before the game because I believe in the magic of Madrid in the Bernabéu. Now we'll see what Kimi has said about that. In the end, people in Europe are afraid of the Bernabéu and Madrid. How could they not be afraid? And then with all the asterisks it has playing against a rival that has been cheating for many years, paying the head referee for what? The chart I showed you about how many times Madrid has won in Spain and in a row isn't normal for a team that's also been so successful in Europe. With all that, what's clear is that here a footballer admits it. Vini has said it. Courtois has said it. Valverde has said it. They've all said it. But if we go to the famous Ferrari generation, no, that one with Mijatovic, Zucker, Roberto Carlos, although, well, later Roberto Carlos and Raúl would also be considered Galacticos, right? Those two were in both generations, but they said the same thing, and the Galacticos too. I mean, man, really, we can't, the big players, it's good that Vini says it, and I also think it's been a good day for Vinicius to come out and talk and say these things. He took a stand. I mean, he didn't dodge any questions, and I think he talked a lot and very well about the topic. When they asked him about Xavi Alonso, I made a little reflection about whether or not to ask him about Xavi Alonso. If you want to see it, it's there, maybe in the live stream. I'll separate the video and post it separately because I think it's interesting in relation to the role of journalists. But anyway, this isn't the video for that. But when they asked Vini, he didn't dodge any questions and said that gesture wasn't nice. There wasn't the same connection with Xavi that I have with Arbeloa and Ancelotti, which is great. It's good. He says it openly. It's fantastic because this way we understand him a bit more since we never hear him talk about the subject. I think we Madrid fans need to hear our star talk about that topic because it was an issue that destabilized the team. At one point, and there were many people who couldn't understand why one of the team's stars was always being substituted and others weren't. Recently, Vini complained that today he played many games, but only for a few minutes or was always substituted before the end. I think we need to do a bit of catharsis and talk about those things. It's fine. As a Madrid fan, it doesn't bother me. Honestly, it bothers me more when they don't share information or talk to me about this than when they do. And as I said before, I think it's very good. It's another thing if he had said some nonsense or something like that, but I think he was very sincere, so that's fantastic. And here as well, I'm not really blaming him that much about the issue of disconnecting among the football players when they get to the league, because it's not just him. It happens to several others. It's already an endemic issue. That problem that Real Madrid has had for many years, that this happens to all of them and in different locker rooms. We've also seen it with a generation where right now everything in the past seems better many times, but we have to remember. In 2016, 2017, and 2018, we'd say these guys win Champions League, but look at the league. What a shame since we lost some unbelievable matches there, right? During those years, yes, with the Negreira asterisk, I know, but these guys also disconnected. And someone will say, how could they not disconnect if the referees were involved, if Barca was playing with a net? Yes. But be there with me. And that many times, hey, that thing of, man, this is the championship, as Zidane used to say, the championship of consistency. It's the one Zidane was most excited to win because it's what gives you the x-ray of a healthy, strong, consistent team that's always motivated. In this other case, well, no. I mean, if you're just stumbling along, well, look, man, no. But, well, it's good that Vini was honest. Share your thoughts in the comments. Then there's the issue of the new players who are joining. For the next video, I'll talk only about Mbappe. only about Mbappe. Now, I'll take the Frenchman out of the equation. He'll definitely be a starter. So the next question is Bellingham. This is one of the lineups they're suggesting could happen tomorrow if it's true that Alvaro Arbeloa doesn't dare to leave Bellingham on the bench. And that's with the Englishman playing as an attacking midfielder and taking out either Thiago Pitar or Guller. I wouldn't take out Pitar, not at all. He's more of a glue guy. I think he's one of the most important players for Madrid right now. And I don't want to take out Guller either. For me, Guller would play instead of Bellingham. Absolutely. But if he has to choose, it shouldn't be Pitar. I think I've already explained in many videos what this guy does. He may not be better than many of the players at Madrid, but what this guy does is so special and so necessary. Look, I think he's the only one who knows how to do it. It's a very simple thing. Always showing up to help his teammate. He moves a lot. He's the one who moves the most without the ball. Knowing how to turn with 1 or 2 touches gives Real Madrid's midfield great fluidity. Without him, I think, just look at the other day, right? Look at the other day. Without him, the team would struggle. I hope Arbeloa has the guts for now not to take Thiago out and not to take Guller out either. But of course, Bellingham's presence is very powerful. And Arbeloa said something like, no, Judd gives us a lot. I think we're a better team with him. I get it. We're a better team with him. He has different qualities compared to other teammates. It's a good problem to have that he's recovered and ready to play. I don't know. Well, let me know in the comments what you think about the starting 11 that might be picked. Tomorrow, Alvaro Arbeloa would go back to Carreras. I would put Fran in. Honestly, I think Fran is in better shape than Carreras. Militão would come back. I wouldn't break up the Rudiger-Hausen partnership. I wouldn't break it up yet. Militão has just recovered. He's already played his first minutes. He's not ready yet. By the way, this lineup I got here is from Adri's account, Real Madrid fans. It doesn't mean it's going to be like this. I'd make several changes here. I'd pair Hausen with Rudiger to keep that stable. Also, I'd pick Fran over Alvaro Carreras since Carreras didn't play well recently and Fran has performed well. Lunin is the only choice since Courtois is still out. Mendy, the left back, trained partially with the group but isn't fully recovered, so that's not possible. That's why I'd choose Fran. And on the right, without following the day-to-day as closely as the coach, of course, and he knows who's in better shape, I would put Carvajal before Alexander-Arnold. Look, Luis Diaz, right? Oh, my God, Luis Diaz. Luis Diaz, man, on that wing. Man, I would put Carvajal. And someone will say, no, Carvajal is worse because someone recently gave him trouble too. Which match was that? I don't remember. You'll tell me in the comments. Of course, but I don't know. There's something about Carvajal, and sometimes I anticipate the comments because I've seen so many, right? No, it's not because you're Spanish and want him to play. No, that's not the reason. Forget it. It's because of these Champions League matches, the Bernabéu and all that. Me, man, I prefer, even though he's lost speed and a lot of things, to go with Carvajal. But anyway, leave your lineups in the comments. Kompany, great coach, by the way. And what he did with Bayern is really impressive because they trusted him this year. Well, Bayern won the Bundesliga again, right? But they were knocked out. I don't remember when, but they were eliminated early in last year's Champions League. And maybe another Bayern would have fired him. They trusted him and said he would lead them to achieve important things. And honestly, they're one of the best teams right now, one of the best performing in Europe. He says the Bernabéu is the toughest stadium to play in this competition. Pay attention because two of the men, well, the two who gave the press conference today for Bayern and who are two of the most important people in this club, the coach, Kompany, and the now veteran player. Remember when he was young, right? Well, now he's a veteran. Kimmich, they're talking about the Bernabéu. So what do you mean by going hard these last few days? I don't think he's lost his rhythm. Everyone is here except Sven Ulreich. As soon as we have the latest information, we'll make a decision. We have a very good squad for the match. I think what's important for us right now is that Harry is available. I think he's going to play. And then, did he say anything else here? That, well, they're going to play without fear. And, you know, the Bernabéu rules. At the Bernabéu, other rules apply. You'll see. There are quite a few Narnian fans and anti-Madridistas who are going to say that he's saying this because of the referees and all that. We'll talk about the referees now. That's not why he's saying it. That's not why he said it. He says, we've played great matches here, but left with nothing, like many Real Madrid opponents in the Champions League who feel they aren't dominating. I think Rudiger said this one day when he was playing with Chelsea at the Bernabéu, and Chelsea was come back against in that season. Wonderful. He said he had it under control, and suddenly Bernardo Silva has also said it many times. Not that many have suffered it, but Química is one of them. So does this mean that at the Bernabeu, other rules apply? And he said something very, very interesting about Real Madrid and Bayern. We are the biggest clubs in the world. He has no doubt about that. Madrid is above, naturally, but Bayern is right there in second. It's true that Real Madrid and Bayern look each other in the eyes and recognize each other. It's not the same with other clubs, maybe a little with Liverpool, of course, with Milan, but Milan has had some very bad years. Not to pay referees, because they paid the second in command of the referees for more than 20 years, and now they live or survive. And registering players either past the deadline or with fake money. So, well, look, you can't look them in the eye, or rather they can't look you in the eye, to you, especially in Europe, right? Especially in Europe. Now, let's move on to a topic about the referees, by the way. But is it the thing that since it's Michael Oliver or all in Arnia, and the most militant anti-Madridism, well, it's with him. With the issue that he set the precedent for us, in fact, Tiempo de Juego also says the precedent with Real Madrid, the referee who is going to officiate the Bayern match. And that many remember, you have to be a killer to make the last decisions the referee has made. I don't know who said this in quotes, nor do they say it. I'm not going to get into the text here because, well, anyway, that's it. Isco called out Juanma Castaño back in the day with that incredible start to the show, saying it was a disgrace what had happened in that match against Juve. And then about Aiteken, come on, he called it a feat of world sports and so on. And Isco told Joma Castañón, double standards shameful, in a tweet that to this day is from a long time ago. From 2018, it has 100,000 likes and will keep getting more, of course, right? That was the famous night Madrid was down by 30, which is remarkable. We've messed up even in years we've won the Champions League, right? Remember that day we had beaten Juve 0-3 in Turin, and then we got to the Bernabeu, man, and they were already beating us 0-3. Last minutes, Cruz crosses the ball. Cristiano heads it down to Lucas Vázquez. And they're saying that this was that situation, that controversy where Madrid was favored. Since this is now history as usual, right? The ones who make the most noise, the ones who keep repeating it, repeating a lie so many times doesn't make it true. But to the ears and eyes of many people, it does. Well, not so much to the eyes, because if you look at the footage, you see a guy coming from behind and pushing Lucas Vázquez. Look, I don't even need to show it to you, okay? Well, since this is a video and not a radio podcast or just audio, it's good to show the video. He put his hands on his back. Benatia climbed on top of him. Look at Lucas Vázquez's reaction here when he gets pushed. Lucas Vázquez makes that face, you know, that Lucas face, right? He put his arms on his back. He pushed him, right? And he climbed on top of him and then touched the ball. But in the end, because the first thing he touched was the player's chest. The chest, as Pelo Pincho would say, right? With that action of Piqué at Stamford Bridge where the ball hit his hand and he said it hit his chest. Well, here I wouldn't say it hit his chest, right? He touched the ball, but also the player's chest, and had pushed him, throwing him off balance. Lucas Vázquez had already controlled the ball with his chest and was about to finish, and they called it a disgrace. It was a disgrace, yes, but the other way around. I mean, that was a penalty. And Isco had a perfectly legal goal disallowed, because later, when drawing the lines, there was no video assistant referee back then. We're talking about 2018. When drawing the lines, Isco was in a perfect position to score a goal, which he did, but the referee disallowed it. And yes, there was Michael Oliver and Michael Oliver's linesman, and there was even, this was before VAR, there was a guy on the goal line, another referee, right? And that's the truth. What happens is, well, you know that the truth, if there's a lot of narrative against it, the truth gets blurred. And it's always the same thing. And the truth is this, the truth is this. The balance of expulsions by referees in the 21st century, we've already seen the data. I really like this composition by the people at footballgate.com, and we're grateful for their invaluable work over the years. Spanish referees in La Liga, Barca plus 69, Real Madrid plus 1. European referees in Champions League, Barca plus 12, Real Madrid plus 11. These are just numbers, and Barca is still ahead, even though Madrid has played more matches, right? And these are really, well, balanced numbers for two clubs that, in the end, Madrid more than Barca for sure, but they're both competing for the Champions League every year, right? However, in La Liga, just look, it's a statistical aberration, really, truly incredible. And speaking of this gives us a chance to talk about the last point, which is what Futo says about what the CTA thinks of that action, where, look, finally they're going to go against Barca. It was so obscene and obvious. There's no other explanation, right? This is what Futo said yesterday, and if he's saying it, just imagine how things are on Kompany's big show, the debate panel. What is the CTA going to say about that red card that Busquets Ferrer first gave to Gerard Martineste and then took back, right? Melero Lopez was very nervous with video assistant referee repeatedly saying, "What have you done? Take this away."
The CTA does not change the criteria they had for that action. The CTA thinks that the play between Gerard Martin and Almada yesterday is not a video assistant referee action. The CTA believes the field referee has already interpreted the action. Surely this play will be explained during the review session next Tuesday, and what they will say is that it's an action that can be sustained on the field and that they don't understand the video assistant referee intervention or why Mateo Busquets Ferrer changed his decision after going to see it. Therefore, when a referee doesn't follow the instructions given by the CTA, I ask you, Juanma, what happens?
Both of them are benched.
Well, then, that's it. Hey, let me tell you something. How clear and how good?
Well, that's it. That's as far as it goes. Hope all goes well for you. Like, subscribe, comment, and share if you enjoyed this video. See you next time. Bye.